Commander Sarah West stood at rigid attention before the Galactic Military Council, her weathered combat uniform a stark contrast to the flowing robes of the alien dignitaries. The council chamber, hewn from living crystal aboard the station Eternal Dawn, amplified every whisper into ethereal echoes. You claim your team can complete the Omega trial. General Zixtal's translucent appendages rippled with barely contained amusement. The same trial that has claimed the lives of our finest warriors for 3 centuries. Sarah's face remained impassive, though her dark eyes gleamed with determination. Behind her stood her team. Lieutenant James Chen, whose cybernetic enhancements glowed softly beneath his skin. Dr. Maya Patel, the quantum physicist whose theories had revolutionized space combat. And Sergeant David O'Connor, whose massive frame carried enough weaponry to level a small city. We don't claim, General. We know we can complete it. Sarah's voice carried the quiet confidence of someone who had survived Earth's deadliest combat zones. The real question is, are you prepared for what that means? The chamber erupted in multilingual murmurs. The Omega trial was the ultimate test of military prowess in the galaxy, a simulation so complex it had driven entire species to abandon their military ambitions. Its completion was deemed mathematically impossible by the finest minds in known space. Admiral Cathal, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, leaned forward. Commander West, perhaps you don't understand. The trial isn't merely difficult. It's designed to be unbeatable. The quantum matrices alone would require processing power beyond your species' comprehension. Maya stepped forward, her dark skin contrasting with her stark white science officer's uniform. With respect, Admiral, your assumptions about human processing capabilities are based on outdated data. We've analyzed the trial's parameters extensively. Oh, Cathal's energy form flickered with interest. And what did you conclude? That you're all thinking like immortal beings with unlimited resources, James interjected, his cybernetics pulsing faster. The trial's impossible because you've designed it around perfect efficiency and unlimited time. Humans, we specialize in the imperfect, the desperate, and the immediate. David shifted his weight, causing his arsenal to clink softly. You've created a test that requires a species to be perfect. But survival on Earth taught us something different. Sometimes the best solution isn't the perfect one. It's the one that works right now. The council members exchanged glances. Humans were still an enigma to the galactic community. Their homeworld, Earth, was classified as a Deathworld, a planet so hostile that its very existence challenged galactic understanding of what constituted habitable. Its gravity was crushing, its weather systems chaotic, and its biosphere filled with organisms that would be classified as apex predators on any other world. Very well, Zixtal finally conceded, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of skepticism. You have 1 standard rotation to prepare. The trial begins tomorrow. When, not if, you fail, perhaps your species will finally accept its place in the galactic hierarchy. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Thank you, General. One question, though. Will there be cameras recording our attempt? I'd hate for anyone to miss this. As the team exited the chamber, James fell into step beside Sarah. They really have no idea what they're in for, do they? Nope, Sarah replied, already mentally reviewing their preparation checklist. They'd spent centuries trying to solve this with brute force and perfect calculation. Time to show them how humans do things. Maya pulled up a holographic display of the trial's architecture. The quantum matrices are impressive, but they've never been tested against human chaos theory. Our unpredictability is going to be our greatest weapon. Speaking of weapons, David grinned, patting his modified pulse rifle. Wait until they see what I've done with their standard issue equipment. The team made their way to their assigned quarters, passing aliens of various species who regarded them with mixtures of pity and curiosity. None of them knew that Earth's gravity meant the humans were basically wearing power armor just by existing in standard gravity. None of them understood that growing up on a death world meant humans had evolved to thrive on impossible odds. "Get some rest," Sarah ordered as they reached their quarters. "Tomorrow we're going to rewrite the galaxy's definition of impossible." Later that night, as artificial starlight filtered through the station's quantum windows, Sarah reviewed the trial's specifications one last time. The holographic display showed layer upon layer of defenses, each designed to be unbeatable. But Sarah saw something else. She saw opportunities, gaps that only a species evolved to spot weakness would notice, flaws that only a species used to turning disadvantages into advantages would recognize. The aliens had created the perfect challenge for a perfect species. Tomorrow, they would learn that humanity's greatest strength was its imperfection, its ability to look at the impossible and see not a barrier, but a challenge. As she prepared for sleep, Sarah's thoughts drifted to Earth, to its storms that could level cities, its oceans that could swallow continents, its gravity that could crush most galactic species. The trial might be impossible by alien standards, but humans had been doing the impossible since they first crawled out of the primordial ooze of their death world. Tomorrow would be interesting indeed. The Eternal Dawn's simulation chamber hummed with quantum energies as Sarah's team made their final preparations. The massive room, larger than most starship hangars, bristled with sensors and reality warping technology designed to create the most challenging military simulation ever devised. "Final equipment check," Sarah ordered, watching her team with practiced eyes. Maya had transformed her standard science officer's uniform into something that looked more like a wearable physics experiment, covered in devices that technically shouldn't exist according to galactic scientific consensus. James was interfacing with his cybernetics, his neural connections glowing beneath his skin as he synchronized with their tactical network. The aliens had prohibited excessive technological augmentation during the trial. They hadn't considered that human cybernetics were designed to work in Earth's crushing gravity. David had somehow made his already impressive arsenal even more intimidating. "Just some modifications based on Earth mining techniques," he explained to a horrified alien observer. "If it can crack through Earth's crust, it can crack through anything in this simulation." The observation deck was packed with alien dignitaries and military officials, all eager to witness what they assumed would be humanity's humbling defeat. Betting pools had reached astronomical sums, all wagering on how quickly the humans would fail. "Commander West," Admiral Cathal's voice resonated through the chamber. "Final chance to withdraw. No shame in admitting the impossible is, well, impossible." Sarah checked her modified combat suit, designed to work with Earth-level gravity rather than against it. "Admiral, has anyone ever told you about the human concept of hold my beer?" Before Cathal could respond, Maya stepped forward. "Our analysis shows 17 fundamental flaws in the trial's quantum architecture. Most species wouldn't notice them because they're too focused on perfection. But when you grow up on a planet where perfect solutions get you killed, you learn to spot the impossible solutions." James finished, his cybernetics pulsing with anticipation. The simulation activated, reality shifting around them. The trial's legendary first challenge materialized, a quantum maze that reconfigured itself faster than organic minds could process, protected by energy fields that could vaporize capital ships. "Impossible," General Zixtal declared. "The quantum flux alone would overwhelm any biological neural system." Sarah smiled. "Maya, show them why we brought a physicist." Maya pulled out what looked like a child's toy, a simple gyroscope modified with technology that made several alien scientists clutch their sensory organs in disbelief. "On Earth, we have these storms called hurricanes. They taught us something interesting about chaos theory." She activated the device. The quantum maze's perfectly ordered patterns began to hiccup, its reconfigurations becoming predictable for microseconds at a time, just long enough for a species evolved to spot predators in chaotic jungle patterns. "James, you're up," Sarah commanded. James's cybernetics flared as he processed the maze's patterns at speeds that shouldn't have been possible for organic beings. But humans hadn't survived Earth by accepting limitations. His movements became a blur as he navigated the maze's momentary patterns, each step calculated with precision, born from having to survive in crushing gravity. David, clear us a path. The surgeon's modified weapons roared to life, not attacking the energy fields directly. That would be impossible, but instead targeting the space between them. The aliens watched in horror as their impenetrable defenses were bypassed by weapons designed to function in environments that would kill most species. This is impossible, and alien scientists shrieked. They're not even attempting to solve the quantum equations. That's because we're not trying to solve them, Sarah explained, leading her team through the chaos. We're exploiting them, just like we exploit Earth's gravity, its storms, its predators. You designed this trial to test perfect beings. We're anything but perfect. The first challenge fell in minutes, leaving the observation deck in stunned silence. Sarah's team regrouped, their modified equipment humming with power that defied galactic engineering standards. Ready for Phase 2? Sarah asked, checking their tactical displays. Maya grinned, already recalibrating her chaos inducer. Just like training in the Australian outback. James's cybernetics pulsed with new calculations. Easier, actually. At least here, the air isn't trying to kill us. David chambered another round in his impossible weapon. Almost disappointing, really. I was expecting something harder. Above them, the trial's next challenge began to materialize, a combat scenario that had broken the minds of the galaxy's finest tactical AIs. Sarah watched her team prepare, each of them carrying a piece of Earth's deadly legacy in their equipment and their spirits. The aliens had created the perfect trial for perfect beings. But humans had never needed perfection. They had something better. They had survival instincts honed on a world that should have killed them, creativity born from having to overcome impossible odds, and an unshakable belief that impossible was just another word for it hasn't been done yet. The next phase was about to begin, and the galaxy was about to learn why betting against humans was always a losing proposition. The trial's second phase manifested as a massive battlefield simulation, complete with quantum-locked fortifications that had broken the finest military minds in the galaxy. Energy barriers rippled like auroras, while automated defense systems tracked every movement with perfect precision. Maya's instruments sparked with readings. They've upgraded since the last known attempt. The quantum matrices are operating on 11 dimensions now. Good, Sarah responded, already moving. More chaos to work with. James, how's our tactical overlay? James's cybernetics pulsed faster. Their targeting systems are perfect, too perfect. They're predicting movements based on optimal patterns. Nobody moves optimally on Earth. David readied his modified weapons. Permission to introduce them to Earth-style urban combat. Sarah grinned. Show them how we fight in 3 times their gravity. David's first shot shouldn't have worked according to galactic physics. His weapon, modified with principles learned from Earth's tectonic activities, sent ripples through the quantum-locked fortifications. The perfect defenses wavered, designed to resist direct assault, but unprepared for weapons that treated physics as a suggestion. Maya activated her chaos inductors, devices that mimicked the unpredictable patterns of Earth's weather systems. The quantum matrices began to fluctuate, their perfect calculations disrupted by patterns evolved from hurricanes and tornadoes. Impossible, came the cries from the observation deck. They're destabilizing the entire simulation. No, Sarah corrected, leading her team through gaps that appeared for microseconds. We're introducing Earth chaos to your perfect system. James, show them what human neural processing can do. James's cybernetics flared as he interfaced directly with the simulation's architecture. On Earth, his augmentations helped him process the countless threats that a Deathworld presented every second. Here, they let him see pathways through the chaos that no eye could predict. The defense systems, programmed for perfect efficiency, couldn't track targets moving with Earth-born unpredictability. David's weapons created localized gravity distortions, Maya's devices induced controlled chaos, and James's cybernetics found paths through impossibility. Sarah coordinated their assault with precision, born from commanding troops on a planet where the environment was as deadly as any enemy. They moved like predators, each step calculated yet unpredictable, each action defying the perfect logic the trial demanded. "They're bypassing the quantum locks," an alien tactical officer shouted. "But they're not even attempting to decrypt them. Why waste time decrypting?" Sarah called back, "When we can just break them." "Maya, show them what happens when you apply Earth storm patterns to quantum fields." Maya's devices pulsed, releasing energy patterns modeled after Earth's most destructive weather phenomena. The quantum locks, designed to resist any logical attack, began to fracture under the assault of pure terrestrial chaos. The observation deck erupted in scientific debate as humanity's approach challenged centuries of military doctrine. They weren't beating the trial, they were breaking it, using methods born from surviving on a planet that should have killed them. David's weapons continued to create impossible effects, designed by a species that had learned to split atoms before leaving their planet. James's cybernetics processed battlefield data faster than the simulation's AIs could adapt. Maya's devices turned perfect order into controlled chaos, and Sarah led them through it all, her tactics evolving as rapidly as the battlefield. Each impossible obstacle fell to methods developed on a world where survival meant adapting or dying. The trial's perfect defenses crumbled before humanity's imperfect solutions. As they breached the final quantum barrier of Phase 2, alarms blared throughout the simulation chamber. The trial systems were registering unprecedented success rates, even as they struggled to understand how their perfect defenses were failing. "Final phase coming up," Sarah announced, checking her team's status. "Ready to show them why Earth's gravity is our greatest advantage." The team's response was unanimous and confident. Behind them lay broken defenses and shattered assumptions. Ahead lay the trial's legendary final challenge, and humanity's chance to prove that sometimes the best way to solve an impossible problem was to be a species that should have been impossible in the first place. Alarms blared throughout the eternal dawn as the trial's final phase materialized. The simulation chamber transformed into a quantum battlefield that defied conventional physics, a space where reality itself fought against intrusion. "Neural shock waves incoming," James reported, his cybernetics processing data streams that would overwhelm most eyes. "They've programmed this phase with every failed attempt from the last 3 centuries. The battlefield warped around them, gravity shifting unpredictably as quantum probability waves crashed against each other. For most species, it would have been disorienting to the point of incapacitation. For humans used to Earth's crushing gravity, it was just another adaptation." "Maya, how's our chaos quotient?" Sarah asked, maintaining her balance as reality fluctuated. "Off the charts," Maya responded, her devices humming with barely contained energy. "They've created a perfect quantum storm. Unfortunately for them, we grew up in a gravity well that makes this look gentle." David had modified his weapons for this phase, incorporating principles learned from Earth's most extreme environments. Permission to show them what happens when you apply volcanic pressure to quantum fields. "Do it," Sarah commanded. "James, coordinate targeting through the probability waves. Maya, destabilize their perfection." David's weapons roared to life, each shot carrying enough concentrated force to rival Earth's tectonic movements. The quantum battlefield shuddered as terrestrial chaos met galactic perfection. Maya's devices induced patterns based on Earth's most destructive weather systems, creating gaps in the seemingly impenetrable quantum defenses. The observation deck had gone silent, their betting pools forgotten as they watched humans turn their perfect trial into a demonstration of Deathworld warfare. James's cybernetics glowed bright as he processed battlefield data at speeds that shouldn't have been possible for organic beings. "They're approaching the theoretical limit," Admiral Kthal announced, their energy form flickering with disbelief. "No species has ever." "Theory's great," Sarah called back. leading her team through impossible gaps in reality. But survival's better. Maya, show them what happens when you apply hurricane dynamics to quantum probability. Maya's devices pulsed with energy patterns evolved from Earth's storms. The quantum battlefield, designed to be perfectly unpredictable, began to show patterns that only a species evolved to spot predators in chaos could see. David's weapons continued their impossible assault, each shot carrying principles learned from a planet that tried to kill its inhabitants daily. James's cybernetics found paths through probability that AIs had deemed impossible, and Maya's devices turned perfect chaos into navigable disorder. As they approached the trial's final objective, a quantum core that had never been reached in 3 centuries of attempts, Sarah allowed herself a moment of pride. Her team hadn't just survived Earth's gravity, its storms, its predators. They had learned from them, adapted their technology and tactics to turn their Deathworld's challenges into advantages. The quantum core pulsed with energy that could destroy solar systems, protected by defenses that had broken civilizations. But Sarah's team moved with confidence born from surviving the impossible every day of their lives on Earth. "Remember," Sarah said, preparing for their final push, "they built this thinking perfect beings would solve it perfectly. Time to show them why Earth taught us that imperfection is strength." The observation deck watched in stunned silence as humanity prepared to rewrite their understanding of possible and impossible. The trial's final phase was about to meet a species that had turned survival into an art form, and the galaxy would never be the same. The quantum core pulsed with impossible energy as Sarah's team approached their final objective. 3 centuries of alien attempts had failed to reach this point. The core's defenses, a perfect blend of quantum mechanics and military engineering, had been deemed unbeatable. Final readings, Maya announced, her devices processing data faster than the trial's designers had thought possible. The core's quantum shielding is operating on 13 dimensions. "Perfect," Sarah responded. "More variables means more chaos to exploit." "David, ready the gravity bombs." David hefted devices that looked deceptively simple, technology born from studying Earth's gravitational anomalies, ready to show them what happens when you apply a Deathworld's gravity to quantum shields. The core's defenses activated, reality warping around them in patterns designed to shred consciousness itself. James's cybernetics flared as he processed the assault, his Earth-evolved brain working in concert with technology designed to survive crushing gravity. "Now," Sarah commanded. David's gravity bombs detonated, each one carrying force equivalent to Earth's tectonic movements. Maya's chaos inductors pulsed with weather patterns evolved from hurricanes and tornadoes. James's cybernetics found impossible paths through reality itself. The observation deck erupted in chaos as their instruments registered what humans had achieved. The trial's perfect defenses, designed to be unbreakable, were being shattered by methods born from surviving on a world that should have killed its inhabitants. "Quantum breach imminent," General Zixtal announced, their crystalline form vibrating with disbelief. "They're actually going to." The core's final defenses fell, not to perfect calculation or flawless strategy, but to the chaotic, unpredictable, brilliant imperfection of human innovation. Sarah's team reached the objective, achieving in minutes what the galaxy's finest minds couldn't accomplish in centuries. As the simulation ended, silence fell over the eternal dawn. The humans stood victorious, their modified equipment still humming with Earthborn power. The alien observers stared in stunned disbelief at their shattered understanding of possible and impossible. Admiral Cthulhu was the first to speak. "How? The trial was designed to be perfect, unbeatable." "That was your mistake," Sarah explained, her team gathering around her. "You created a perfect challenge for perfect beings. But Earth taught us something different. In a world that tries to kill you every day, perfection gets you killed. Adaptation, innovation, the ability to turn disadvantages into strengths, that's what keeps you alive." Maya deactivated her chaos inductors. "Your quantum mechanics are impressive, but they never accounted for Earth chaos theory." James's cybernetics pulsed one final time. Your eyes are perfect, but they never learned to process like a species evolved to spot patterns in chaos. David secured his weapons, and your defenses are unbreakable, but they never face technology designed to work in crushing gravity. The implications rippled through the galactic community. Humans hadn't just completed the trial. They had revolutionized military doctrine itself. Their victory proved that sometimes the best solution wasn't the perfect one, but the one born from surviving the impossible. As Sarah's team prepared to leave the simulation chamber, she turned to the still stunned observers. You know what's funny? On Earth, we call this a Tuesday. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again. They had proven that being born on a death world hadn't made them weaker. It had made them unstoppable. The impossible was just another challenge to overcome, and humanity was just getting started.